Welcome to the Jiu Jitsu Oracle Awards with myself, Ross, and my co-host, Calum. Calum, these awards are for the year 2025, but
we're thinking ahead.
We're thinking ahead, and the graphic you guys will see on the screen is 2026. So Calum was in charge of coming up with the awards, and
the artist a lot of money for this images, and we blew the budget, so we couldn't ask for it to be done again when I made that mistake.
Yeah, and on the plus side, when it comes to 2026, then we'll just reuse this image.
Yeah.
So thinking ahead, we're going to give out a couple of awards for male gi grappler of the year, male no gi grappler of the year, female gi grappler of the year, female no gi grappler of the year, show of the year. We'll talk a little bit about our thoughts on 2025, and then I want you to get in the comments and let us know what you think about the awards we've given out and other awards that we should give out. Calum, what I'm going to do is with this award, it will go out in 2026. I'm going to hang on to it until after New Year. So at least we can say, well, the reason it said that was because we were waiting until the New Year to give out our awards. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. Calum's favourite category is male no-gi grappler of the year. That's the jiu-jitsu he watches the most. So Calum, talk about the scene as a whole and then who we've picked as our male no-gi grappler of the year.
So for this category, I didn't think there was as many standouts to choose from as usual, or maybe as there would have been the last couple of years. And I think the main reason for that is the fact that the main no-gi competition of the year was CGI, which was a teams event, so there was less ability for people to kind of individually show what they were capable of. The emphasis was on the heavier grapplers in that event because it was mixed categories. However, the heavyweight division, like we've spoken about time and time again, is like rock, paper, scissors at the moment. There's nobody that's standing out. They can all beat each other on any given night. And then the smaller guys, there was no ADCC for guys to dominantly win their division. Some guys performed well, some lighter guys at CGI, but again, it wasn't something where they could really like stand out. So because of that, we've had to look at other things that might not come into consideration as much as other years, but one guy that's done pretty much everything that he can do competition-wise this year, that I think we're going to give the award to, is Pavel Jarowski. So he won Nogi Worlds, Nogi Pans, double golded at Nogi Euros. I don't know if he maybe double golded at Nogi Pans as well, but he definitely won his division. He had a good match against Hulk at CGI. He won ADCC European Trials, beating Tarek and Santeri Ilias. He did Aiga, he did super fights, he did Polaris, squads. He did pretty much everything he could do. So if anyone's done the work this year competition-wise to deserve the award and had the success in it, then I think it's Pavel in his black belt debut.
So it's definitely the most active of the guys in the elite competition. Yeah, he's entered loads, won loads. On my notes, I've got him down as winning absolute bronze at Pan Nogi, which you referenced there. And he also took bronze in absolute at the recent Nogi Worlds, only losing to Roosevelt Souza, who won the open class division. So yeah, incredibly high success rate for the tournaments he enters. Obviously at his weight class, and then yeah, even managing to go deep in open class is very impressive. I think at Euro Nogi, across 9 matches, he had 7 submissions. So high success rate with finishing opponents, which is something we look for. And I think you're right in terms of like his activeness and winning IBJJF and ADCC puts him ahead of other guys in a year where no one has really had statement victories or a couple of statement victories out of the guys that are doing a lot of super fights. So, and that's something like we were chatting about before. In 2026, projecting ahead, as Calum's Jiu Jitsu Awards graphic shows, like hopefully Pavel next year starts to take on some more of these kind of matches and get some big statement wins. It might come at ADCC. If he's in under 88, he could well end up against Giancarlo Bidoni. So a win like that would be probably the next step on Pavel's career. Do you think that's fair to say?
I think it's fair, and I don't think it's like I think he's beaten a lot of good guys, but he's not really faced a certain tier above the level of the guys he's been facing. But I don't think that's any fault of his own. Like we said, it's been his black belt like rookie year this year, so not necessarily going to be getting offers for like the biggest super fight matches yet, but having done the work that he's done this year, could definitely see some of those offers for next year. And then, yeah, also there's going to be definitely an ADCC where he's going to likely face someone very good. And then, fingers crossed, also a CGI 3 where you could also have an opportunity to face one of those top tier guys. So, looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, hopefully we get a CGI 3 in 2026. Couple of other contenders. One was Andrew Tackett. He was primarily competing in UFC BJJ. I counted 5 victories. Probably the standout wins were against Hanato Kanuto and Elijah Dorsey. But I don't think that's enough to put him ahead of Pavel, given how busy Pavel has been. Dorian Olivares had a great showing at CGI 2 against Taylor Pearman, Philippe Pena, Ethan Krellenston. Won ADCC East Coast Trials, beating Gavin Corby. But again, I don't think that body of work trumps Pavel. And then, like, big hitters that are out there, Luke Griffith, beat Victor Hugo, but lost to Penn at CGI 2. Avenged that loss at WNO. So, I'll say lost to Nicky Rod as well. So, it's kind of, he's had some good wins, but couple of losses as well. And then Nicky Rod, like one thing instinctively I thought when we were coming up with this male no-gi grappling leader award was, let's look at who won CGI 2 first, and then like the MVP from the winning team on the biggest competition of the year would be a good contender to be the male no-gi grappler of the year. But Nicky Rod not being the most active and had the loss against Victor Hugo as well. Impressive win over Kynan and led his team to victory at CGI 2, getting that all-important victory over Luke at the end. But again, I think Pavel's body of work's better than his. Same with Victor Hugo, beat Nicky Rod, but has a loss to Luke Griffith. So, and you've said before, Calum, a lot of these heavyweights tend to be beating each other just now, and we're looking for one guy to come out and be consistent and rack up a few victories against other contenders. Although I know how difficult it is at the top level to do that, but it just, we're on the back of the Gordon Ryan era where that did happen. So kind of looking for someone else to come through and do that. But anything else on the male no-gi scene from 25?
Not really, like I explained before, just given the landscape of the biggest competitions this year being team competitions, it's changes the kind of people that are standing out. But yeah, I don't think anyone's like stamped themselves as much as maybe other years where, like, last year you had like Pato doing really well at everything, and he was really up there for no-gi guys winning ADCC competition, CGI competition. It's not quite that level of like putting yourself ahead of the crowd, but Pavel's definitely done as well as he can, and I think deservedly won the award.
All right, male gi grappler of the year. I think there's 3 people in the running for this, and I think there's one guy who's just ahead of the other 2. So one we were thinking about was Eric Muniz. Now, I'd say probably Eric's the best male gi grappler in the world right now. Across the year, he double golded at Brasileiro, won Worlds, beat Adam Virginski at BJ Stars. But with Eric, it's kind of, he sort of played to his own high standards, and I don't think he went like above and beyond that. And for me to say like he would be the grappler of the year, like you're looking for something like spectacular and maybe like a little bit different from before. So, you know, couple of major wins, a good win over Virginski, but I don't know if that's enough to get him over the guy we're going to have as number one. Adam Virginski, great start to the year, winning Euros, Pans, Brasileiro, Worlds, right? I think Adam won them all.
Yeah.
Second Worlds as well. But had a loss to Eric and BJJ Stars, lost to Nolan Stewart at the Crown. So great start to the year, but kind of didn't tail off at the end, but not as strong a finish. And then the guy we're going to give it to, Diego Pato, male gi grappler of the year, won all the majors in 2025, Euros, Pans, Brasileiro, and Worlds. I called the Jiu Jitsu Oracle's gi consultant for advice on this, and give us a shout in the comments if you think you know who I'm talking about. But like, I'm gonna paraphrase what was said, so I don't want to say that our consultant said these things. I'm just going off memory, but basically it was Pato's extremely dominant in a division that historically has been extremely difficult to be dominant in, and then he obviously has that statement win over Baby Shark at the Worlds. So yeah, I'm happy with Pato just edging out Adam and Eric, who would be like joint second for it. What do you think? Pato, fair enough shout?
Yeah, definitely. Some big names as well throughout those four major competitions. So, be Kennedy Maciel, Isaac Doderline, Baby Shark. So some big names as well. And yeah, did the Grand Slam, looked pretty dominant doing it. So I think that's fair to give him the awards.
All right. Female no-gi grappler of the year. I think there's one person really stood out over everyone else, and that would be Helena Krevar. Helena's statement win was at CGI2, where she beat Adele Fornerino and Sarah Galvao to win the women's tournament. And then across the year, she's just been, like Pavel Yavorsky, the male no-gi grappler of the year, incredibly active. I've got her winning matches at Polaris, IBJJF, ONE, WNO, UFC, ADXC. Just crazy busy, competing for absolutely everyone, winning the vast majority of the matches, and usually submitting an opponent when she wins as well. Helena Krevar, Calum, female no-gi grappler of the year. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. She put the work in like Pavel has. Like you said, CGI won that. Won Nogi Worlds, won multiple matches throughout the year on Polaris, one on UFC, one on WNO, BJJ Stars. So has been consistent through a variety of rule sets. Won the biggest competition of the year. Been consistent from start to finish. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut for her.
Okay. But viewers and listeners, let us know in the comments if you think there's anyone else that we could have considered for this award or should have given it to above Helena. And then one more individual category would be female gi grappler of the year. And I found this a little bit tricky, this category, and had a good chat with our gi consultant about it, right? The reason I find it tricky is because Gabi Pisania has been such a dominant force in the women's gi category, but measured against Gabi's own high standards, while she double golded at Worlds, Pans, and Euros, as she usually does, she had that loss in Brazil to Tayane Porfirio. A loss she then avenged, but a loss nonetheless. So I like for Gabi to play to her like high standards that she has set I'd be looking for a double gold at all 4 majors, and she fell just short. So I'm thinking, is there anyone else that had a great year? And then maybe you're saying, well, Gabby didn't double gold at absolutely everything as she usually does, so maybe she can not take our Jiu Jitsu Oracle Award this year. Another contender was Mayasa Bastos. Now, she won Worlds. I think that was her 6th Worlds title. And she also won Euros and Brasileiro. But she had a loss at Pans in the semi-final, I believe. So, again, only one loss across that majors, but against her own high standard of being a now 6-time world champion, that one loss is a consideration in this category. I thought about Mia Funegra because at 18 years old, she became the youngest IBJJF black belt world champion. But was that achievement alone enough to give the award to her? So that was another consideration I had as I was talking to our gi expert. And then we have the person we're going to give the award to. And this was someone I wasn't thinking before, Calum. I hadn't really considered. I thought off the top of my head, Gabby and Mayasa, let's check them out first. Then, what did Mia do? Because I remembered that great historic achievement of being an 18-year-old world champion. And then I was given the suggestion of having a look at Janaína Lebre's record. Now, she also, like Pato, did the Grand Slam in 2025. Euros, Pans, Brasileiro, and Worlds. She did lose later in the year in the Grand Slam. In the Crown, sorry. She did lose later in the year in the Crown to Sarah Galvao, but then I looked at Sarah's record, and outside of that, Sarah doesn't have big wins in the gi like Janaína does. So I think Janaína Lebre, women's gi grappler of the year, Grand Slam champ, much like Diego Pato, who took our male title. That's the reason we're giving it to her. Does my reasoning make sense, Calum?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Is there anything else you want to add about the gi scene, male or female? Because I talked for a bit.
Not really, to be honest. I didn't keep up Worlds that much when it was on because I was away on my travels. So, yeah, everything you're saying, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with.
Sounds good. And then last award for today. And again, if you've got other things you think we should be giving awards to, get in the comments and let us know. It could be best submission of the year, biggest upset of the year, single performance of the year. They were things we batted around, but we weren't decisive in who we were going to give them to, so we haven't made it part of this episode, but maybe we can come back and do another episode on that. But the last award, I think we should do a show of the year, because I think this event stood out against everything else that happened in Jiu-Jitsu this year, and that's CGI 2. And I really, really hope we get CGI 3 next year. But Calum, CGI 2, show of the year for us. Give me your thoughts on why we've given that award to CGI over others, but also like some reflections on the event itself.
So then production and star power wise, it is head and shoulders above the rest of the shows that were put on this year. CGI 2, a kind of recap of it. I know a lot of people weren't the most pleased with the first day, but I think the first day was still really good, really tense in that squad setting, and then I think the next day was a lot more exciting. I don't know if that was just because people were saving their energy or because Craig put those submission bonuses on the line, but I thought day 2 was great. I think comparing a CGI 1 and CGI 2, I think The jiu-jitsu was better at CGI 1, but I think the drama and spectacle was debatably better at CGI 2. So, yeah, great event. I would like to see them go back to the individual tournament for next year, but I thoroughly enjoyed the team settings for this year, and I thought it made for a lot of drama, which was very entertaining to spectate.
Yeah, I think with the team element, we had all the build-up of who's going to be on what team, what teams are going to be in, who's going to be on what team, etc. We had trials events that were noteworthy along the way. So there was a big build-up to the event itself. Then we had the event. I thought day one was better than a lot of other people. And I remember doing a podcast after day one, ranting about the cesspit that was the BJJ Reddit page where people were just having a go. And I won't go over old ground, but I enjoyed that day one. I think there were plenty of good matches on it. And I think people were looking back on CGI 1 with a bit of rose-tinted glasses because, well, there were standout matches on that. There was also some matches, particularly in the male heavier category, that weren't amazing, and people kind of forgot that. So I think, and with sport, like there's no guarantee that everything you watch is going to be super entertaining and on the edge of your seat. But the context of it all, who's going to get through, was exciting to me. And then day two had like some standout matches and moments that were really exciting, that people were waiting for. And then we had the whole fallout from the event, you know, the controversial win by B Team over New Wave. Were New Wave still going to get paid? No, they weren't in the end. We had all that drama. So I think, like, as a whole package across like several months, and the effort they put in, notably Craig Jones, to building up the event, hyping the event, get people excited and investing in it, is way ahead of what other promotions are doing. So we had that big build up, the event itself, and then interesting and dramatic and contentious fallout. So as a whole, across loads of months, it was huge for jiu-jitsu to have that. So I think by far it is the best show, the best promotion. There's nothing else like it. We can see, just as a metric of interest, when CGI's around, way more people are interested in us talking about jiu-jitsu and that event than they are when we talk about other events. So yeah, please let there be a CGI 3 in 2026, because I think the scene needs it and really benefits from being around. So, Calum, any other thoughts on the year as a whole?
No, but I think it's kind of been the year of team events. It was really entertaining. Some of the other ones, like I really liked the odd Polaris every few months with the squads events. That was really entertaining. So I hope they keep that up in 2026, even though I hope CGI returns and I hope they return to the individual match format. I really enjoy on a Saturday night getting to watch Polaris and the squads event, so I hope they keep that up. And yeah, looking forward to hopefully ADCC and CGI next year, as well as all the other events.
Yeah, 2026 should be a big year from that point of view. Like having definitely having ADCC World. I think it being in Poland will be awesome. I think that hopefully that arena's much busier than the other times it's been in Europe, and get a lot of grappling fans, a lot of people excited and interested. Particularly, we might see our male Nogi grappler of the year, Pavel Jaworski, being one of the favorites in his division. Someone like McTavish competing. I think, like, you know, Polish grappling fans can get behind those guys, create a good atmosphere, and fill the arena. So yeah, I think ADCC being in Poland will be great. I'd love to see CGI back. And then, yeah, we'll be back into the run of like Worlds, IBJJF, all the majors leading up to it, etc. So, yeah, I think it's been 2025. It's a good year of grappling, but I think 2026 is set up to maybe be even better. But for now, we'll leave you with our awards. Please get in the comments. Let us know what you think. We'll love reading them all and try and reply to as many as possible. And we'll see you again soon to preview and review some big, exciting, elite action in Jiu Jitsu.